So we are going to be making the slide you are seeing on your screen, and we have marked the last with our center line. Now we are going to start the pattern from here. So now we measure from here down here, we measure 2.5 inch, 2.5 inch, and also from that measurement here we measure half inch. So now we are going to take our drawing from that half inch down here, and we are going to measure 1.5 inch, 1.5 inch, and then we take our drawing from that half inch down through the 1.5 inch, then bring it towards this area. So this is the line. Make sure you don't exceed the line, so the curve has to rhyme with the 2.5 inch measurement. So we take the curve from there, take it down this way. So we are done with the sketching now. The next thing, we are going to call the pattern out and develop it. So we already know how we do our pattern development. In this case, we are going to, first of all, we're going to draw a straight line on this cardboard paper so that we don't make a mistake. We'll draw a straight line on the cardboard paper, and then we are going to place the vamp area of the pattern along the straight line. So always tell us to always avoid too much crease so that the pattern won't lose its shape. So we're going to cut some part of this area to make sure we have the pattern well pasted on the cardboard. So we are done pasting the pattern on the cardboard paper. You see we have creeps, but it is not much, and we still have the pattern in shape. So the next thing now, we are going to firstly, let me cut off some excess cardboard paper. So now we are going to add our lasting allowance, but always remember to put in shape. Some places that you feel that is not in shape, you use your pencil to put them in shape. So we're going to add our lasting allowance as 1.5 inch. 1.5 inch, that is our lasting allowance. So you extend the lines towards that measurement. Make sure you follow the curve, very important. Follow the curve, then you join it here. Now we fold the pattern into 2 equal parts from that center line, and then we simply cut the pattern into shape, and it automatically gives us the other side of the pattern. So now our pattern is ready. You can see that we are done with the pattern sketching. The next thing, we are going to the next level. We're going to, you see here, marks where it's supposed to be inside here. So make sure you mark it. It is very important. So now we are going to use the pattern to mark out our leader. So after marking the other side, you turn the leather to the other side to get the other side of the foot. So you don't mark the same side 2 times. You mark and then you turn the other side to get the other side of the foot. Understand what I mean? So you turn. So now we are going to attach our lining. You apply gum and attach your lining. So you must attach your lining before you cut the pattern into shape, so that you're going to have a neat edge. Understand? So that you have a neat edge. So you cut after gumming your lining to the pattern. And after that, you use your dye to dye the edges to give it a neat finishing. You can use a leather coat if you have, but I prefer using dye. You can see that. So we're going to sew it around after the edge dyeing. So we are done sewing the pattern, you can see that. So let's move to the next step. This is Nora 3mm for the insole, and this one is Nora 4mm for the main sole. So and this is our already made sole we're going to use to mark out the shape of our soles. So what we are using, Nora 4mm for the main sole and Nora 3mm for the insole. So this is the main sole. You don't have to cut it completely into shape, and this is the insole. You can see that. So we are going to attach Mako 2mm to the insole for proper bonding, so that we're going to have a lasting bonding. So firstly, we are going to brush the surface of the macro with our iron brush. Make sure we brush it properly front and back, so that it will have a rough surface. It will help the bond to be strong and also last. Our bonus on this video: each time you have excess gum on your brush, it is a time for you to peel it off when it is still light. Don't allow it to dry off. So you peel it off, you have your brush neat once more. So now we are done with our heel. This is our heel. We have filed the edges, so we're going to stick it to the main sole this way. So I'm going to mark out where it is going to sit on the both soles, and after that I'm going to use a rough sandpaper to sand that area so that it won't have that smooth surface. So I'll use my rough sandpaper. You see the way I placed it on the brush, and you sand the surface. If you have a quantity that is more than one pair, you can use your bench grinder or filing machine to do that. So after properly sanding the surface, clean off the dust, and then you apply your gum and stick the heel to the sole. Your finishing starts from when you are applying your gum, so you make sure you follow the marked out area. Make sure that you don't spill gum where it's not necessary, so that you don't end up cleaning some spilled gum after you must have finished your work. So you have to be careful. You have to watch the way I am applying the gum. So now we have gummed our macro 2mm to our insole, and now we're going to stick our heel to our sole. So once you stick it, you hammer it. You have to hammer it, because I'm not going to do the hammering on this table because of the camera. So you make sure you hammer it very well after sticking it to the sole. And after that, you cut off the excess. You cut off the excess heel to get the sole into shape once more. So now we are done with the sole. Now let us last our pattern. You place your last on your insole this way, and then we are going to make sure the back is at the center, and that we mark here and here. That is where the pattern has to start from the front. And then we place our pattern on our last. We're going to mark where the width of the pattern has to stop on the insole, so that we don't have gap after punching the holes for the pattern. So you place your pattern on that measurement, bend it towards your insole here, and then you mark. Then you're going to use your ruler to transfer here to the other side. You understand? Use your ruler to transfer that measurement to the other side so that your pattern won't bend, or won't bend rather. And after that, we are going to go punch the holes here, here, and here. So we're going to punch the holes. Now I have punched the holes. Then I'm going to place the insole opposite the other one, mark out the holes, and then punch the other side too. That was how I got the both of them punched. So now we are going to cut the strap holes or the pattern holes. Remember, I always told us to bend our knife. Don't cut straight, you bend your knife so that after lasting your pattern, you're going to have your insole still in shape. So you make sure you bend your knife while cutting the strap hole. So always remember your mark. Here is supposed to be inside, so you put your pattern in. So for here to go in, you have to fold here, fold it, you fold it, and then you put it in, and then you straighten it and pull it out again. Understand? You pull it out gradually, slowly, and then leave a little bit of it. And then you put in your last. You use your nails to pin it to the last, to pin the insole to the last. So make sure that the tip of the last is at the tip of the insole, and also make sure that the back of the last is at the center of the insole, and then you pin it. One nail at the back and one at the front. So after doing that, you pull your pattern. Always concentrate at the center of the pattern. Make sure it's at the center of the last. As you pull, make sure it's at the center of the last, so that you don't have a default pattern. So as you are pulling it, make sure it's at the center, and make sure it is very tight. Pull very tight. If it is not straight, pull, and make sure you set to get it properly placed on the right position. So after that, we are going to cut off some excess pattern. We cut off some excess part of the pattern, so that the pattern won't be touching under the insole. So you make sure they are not touching each other under the insole. And then we apply our gum. So now the gums have dried. Now you pull here, pull this place first, pull it, you gum, pull here, you gum it, pull the center. Make sure that you shear the creeps so that it won't gather one place. Understand? You do the same on the other side. So after doing that, you use your hammer, you hammer it properly, Then now you use your scissors, cut off those clips, because if you don't cut them off, it won't allow the insole to lap very well or properly on the sole. So you have to cut it off. It is going to aid the bonding. So you cut the clips off. So now we are done with the last thing. You can see that we are done with the last thing. So you remove your rigid or your nose. So you can see that. Pull those the sides. Make sure everything is in shape, as you can see. So the next thing we are going to do now is to couple the whole thing, and then we smooth the edges. So we are almost done with the whole project. So now simply apply gum on the surface of your sole and your insole. So when the gum must have dried, you start from the back. You see how I am placing my palms to make sure that the insole is at the center or at the proper setting on the sole, and then you set it at the front also. You don't rush this part. You just gradually make sure that every side and every place is in the right position. Understand? Make sure that all the parts are in right position, and then you press. And after that, you hammer it round with your mallet. I've told us don't use a metal hammer on your finished footwear. Use a mallet. If you use a hammer, it is going to leave marks on the insole or the sole. So you use your mallet to make sure the bonding has, properly bonded. So after you must have hammered the whole sole and the insole together on your anvil with your mallet, you cut off the excess sole. So after cutting off the excess sole, the next thing is to take the footwear to our bench grinder to smooth the edges. So what I'm doing now is to make sure that the edges were properly bonded. I don't want to have some openings around the edges after filing it, so I have to do this. That is why I am doing this, so to make sure that the edges are properly bonded. So we are done with the whole thing. You can see it. We have finished the whole project. So thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to subscribe and also hit the bell icon to get updates, because more videos are on the way. If you have questions or comments, drop it in the comment section, and see you in our next video, and have a nice day.